It's now 4:05, and here's Louisa Buck with today's Kaleidoscope.
Specifically the River Thames, which forms a central theme for River Crossings, an ambitious exhibition of site-specific art which explores themes of communication and boundaries in and around London's Docklands. The show's been organised by Camerawork, an East End gallery which, as its name implies, specialises in lens-based artworks, and this technological bias extends to most, but not all, of the 11 artists taking part. I started my journey on the south side at the Cafe Gallery in Southwark Park. It's right beside a neglected, overgrown public swimming pool, and it's this Lido that's the main inspiration for a video installation by Chris May Andrews.
What you see if you come into the gallery and turn into the space, on the floor is a large platform, 8 foot by 6 foot, floating just above the surface of the floor. Projected onto it from an overhead LCD projector is the image of a swimmer who's swimming initially very slowly across that platform, back and forth, gradually speeding up. Each time he passes, speeding a little bit more until he's eventually at full speed. He then moves up towards the camera and then freezes at that moment. The sound stops. The videotape recorder begins to rewind, and in place of the pre-recorded swimmer is the live image, the image of the camera looking at the floor of the swimming pool out here.
What we're looking at now, so anything that hops across the view of that camera at this minute will be seen inside the gallery.
That's indeed correct, and superimposed onto that is the date and time to give people a sense of the here and now versus the past of the pre-recorded swimmer on the tape.
There are a lot of complex things going on here. I mean, you're using technology in an interesting way, technology and water, and they aren't usually that compatible in one's mind's eye.
What I want people to think about is this flowing image, flowing continuously, just the way that water continues to flow, from the camera down the cables, which are all apparent in the exhibition. They're not made invisible. In fact, they're made very visible by being tacked along the middle of the wall and so on. So that parallel, if you like, between the flowing water and the flowing image is quite important.
What kind of importance does this sort of public art festival have, Emmanuel? I mean, do you think it really does serve a proper purpose in promoting the cause of public and contemporary art?
Yes, I do. I think it's certainly well worthwhile doing it from that point of view. I mean, if you take Chris May Andrews in Southwark Park, we all become aware that there's a Lido there, which has been disused for 3 years because nobody can afford to restore it. His particular installation seems to me one of the most conventional because he's literally created a gallery space, which he then relates to this disused Lido next door, and we see this swimmer swimming beautifully sensually through this water up and down in a very sort of handsome video presentation. And it's one that I felt most easy with in a way, because I suppose I was most easy with the site in which it was placed. It didn't have to compete with things which were equal, which were more amazing. And that what it did show us on the video monitor was the disused, or a little bit of the disused Lido, which I liked very much.